Here's an explanation of what's happening in the United States Senate as it takes a series of votes to reopen the government after a prolonged shutdown. The background: the federal government entered a shutdown on October 1, 2025, because Congress failed to pass full-year appropriations or a short-term stopgap measure to keep agencies funded. As the shutdown dragged on, now one of the longest in U.S. history, pressure mounted from federal workers, contractors, and citizens affected by disrupted services. In the Senate, because of rules such as the filibuster, most major legislation requires 60 votes to advance. The Republicans hold a majority, 53 Republicans versus 47 Democrats independents, but that alone wasn't enough to pass a reopening bill. They needed at least some Democratic crossover support. The recent vote series and tipping point. After multiple failed attempts earlier in the shutdown, e.g., votes in October that fell short of 60, the Senate reached a breakthrough on Sunday night, November 9–10, 2025. A bipartisan agreement was struck that combined a continuing resolution, CR, plus several full-year appropriations bills for key agencies. In the crucial procedural vote, the Senate voted 60–40 to advance the measure. 8 Democrats, including one independent who caucuses with Democrats, broke with party leadership and joined Republicans to get to the 60-vote threshold. The deal includes funding the government at existing levels FY 2025 for many agencies until January 30, 2026. Full-year appropriations for 3 agencies: Military Construction and Veterans Affairs, the Legislative Branch, and the Department of Agriculture. Provisions to reverse layoffs of federal workers already furloughed during the shutdown and ensure back pay for them. A commitment but not guarantee to hold a December vote on extending the premium tax credits under the Affordable Care Act (ACA), which Democrats had made a key priority. Political dynamics and implications. The achievement of the 60-vote threshold is significant because it breaks the deadlock and moves the Senate toward final passage. However, this is not the end. After the procedural advancement, the bill must still clear further Senate votes, which may require only a simple majority, and then pass the United States House of Representatives and be signed by the President before the government is fully reopened. The deal is causing sharp divisions. Some Democrats, including the Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, oppose the measure because they believe it concedes too much and lacks sufficient guarantees on healthcare subsidy extensions. The 8 Democrats who voted for advance justified their decision by citing the urgent harm caused by the shutdown to workers, SNAP recipients, federal services, and the opportunity to protect federal employees and guarantee a future healthcare vote. Republicans achieved their goal of reopening the government and avoided making immediate concessions on the healthcare subsidies. Why a series of votes? Because of Senate procedure. The first vote was procedural, to advance the bill and overcome the filibuster threshold, 60 votes. Without that, the bill would be blocked. After that, a series of amendment votes, debate and possibly changes will be required to finalize the legislation. Senate Majority Leader John Thune reportedly lined up 8 votes, amendments, etc. as part of the process. After Senate finalizes its version, the House must vote, and any differences must be reconciled. Then the President signs. In summary, the Senate's decision to take a series of votes to reopen the government reflects a shift from stalemate toward action. The 60–40 vote to advance the measure marks a major turning point in the shutdown fight, but it's not over. The full reopening depends on subsequent Senate votes, House approval, and the President's signature. The deal reflects a compromise. The government will be reopened sooner rather than later, but some policy fights, especially on healthcare subsidies, have been delayed rather than resolved.